Morning, everyone. Welcome to our Indian Arrival Day celebrations. I would like to invite Gavin and Takia to lead us in our morning prayer. Gavin and Takia.
Om Paramatmane Namah. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
The Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimari Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Body of all, mind of all, spirit of all, may we meditate on the Supreme, on the all-pervading radiance of the ultimate source of divine light. May He inspire the innermost thoughts of our hearts. Om Paramatmane Namah. It's He.
Thank you, Gavin and Takia. All right, so today we are embarking on a very, very special journey. And this journey is going to take us through the passage of time. We will be honoring our ancestors who arrived in 1845 from India. And in our country, we are so privileged to be able to have so many immigrants who have played such an important role in making us who we truly are as a people, and that is Trinidadian people, right? Because we are all Trinidadians. So remember we were talking about we are going on a special journey, right? Now most of you would have learned this journey because the entire week we've been learning about the arrival of East Indians to our shores, right? And they came on a particular ship. And this ship was called the Patel Razak. And today you all are going to be on this ship taking us around until we get to Anastasia's greeting, okay? So remember that the East Indians came on, and later on we're going to learn many different ships, but today we're going to take a look at the Patel Razak. And this was a ship that ferried the first East Indian indentured laborers from Calcutta in India to Trinidad in 1845. And who would arrive first? Well,
So the first person we have arriving would be our headmaster, Mr. Devi. And Mr. Devi is steering our ship into the smooth waters that he taught us of knowledge, intellect, and wisdom. And Mr. Devi is there at the helm of our ship, ready to steer us into the ocean of knowledge, intellect, and wisdom. And after Mr. Devi, of course, we have the staff. So the staff has arrived. We are following Mr. Devi. Ready to keep you learning, keep you fun, keep you entertained. Don't your teachers look amazing? And now we have the cutest ship of all. Reception is here. Welcome, reception. Remember to hold on tight. These are rough waters. Year 1 has arrived. Year 1 is having lots of fun aboard their ship. Look at all those smiles. Year 2, welcome Year 2. This crew is dressed beautifully and is enjoying their journey through the rough waters of the Calapan. Year 3. That ship is moving so quickly. Welcome Year 3. Year 3 has opted for a modern ship. To ensure they have a safe journey, they look very relaxed and happy aboard their ship. Year 4. Welcome, Year 4. Year 4 students are in all smiles. The girls are so happy they even started modeling on the staircase of the ship. Very nice, Year 4. Remember to hold on. Year 5. Year 5 is now here. And they have a full vessel. Everyone is eloquently dressed for their journey, and they are cruising along. And the last ship of the day, Year 6. This group of passengers have been on board the longest on the Renaissance vessel. They are our beloved crew of seasonal sailors. Welcome, Year 6. Now, as everyone has landed safely, let's continue our journey online with this special message.
Hello everyone, I am Anastasia Salakram, frontline dancer of the Zee TV Shiv Shakti Dance Company, pursuing my degree in business management, also currently employed at the Ministry of Finance, and I'm a very proud past student of the Trinidad Renaissance School. On this, the anniversary of the end of East Indian indentureship, I join with the rest of the nation in extending best wishes to the East Indian community on this Indian Arrival Day. As we celebrate 176 years of Indian arrival, let us not forget the sons and daughters of the great nation of India who left and ventured to a foreign land and experienced an unimaginable journey. The humble contributions that they have made to our twin island republic makes it what it is today, a melting pot of love and unity. In closing, I'd like to leave with you this quote by the great Mahatma Gandhi, which says, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." Shukriya or Dhanyavad.
मेरा झुमका उठा के लाया यार वे चौकीदार था बरेली के बाजार में मैं तो ठुमका लगा के शर्मा गई बोली घूम कर बता दे के मैं आ गई मुझको लौटा के नाच ले आजा नाच ले मेरी यार तू नाच ले पड़ी थी मेरी नथनी पड़ी थी मैंने गलती करी थी मेरी नथनी पड़ी थी कि सोने में उसको रंगा गई मैं रंगा के अटरिया पे आ गई मोहल्ले में कैसी मारा मार है बोले मोती भी खुद को सुनार है सबको नचा के नच ले आजा नच ले मेरी यार तू नच ले झनक झनक झनका हो नच ले मेरी यार तू नच ले अब तो लुटा है बाजार
And after that lovely dance, we now go on to the history of Indian Arrival Day. On to you, Mrs. Miraj.
Thank you, Miss. Okay, so we are going to begin with a brief history of the journey of indentured laborers to our shores. And I would like to introduce to you Professor Barbara Lala, who is Professor Emerita of Language and Literature, University of the West Indies, author of many scholarly articles, as well as an extremely creative novelist, and more importantly, a friend of the Renaissance family. So we are going to take a look at Dr. Lala's contribution now.
Good morning. Today, we celebrate the arrival in Trinidad and Tobago of the first indentured laborers from India on the ship, the Fertile Razak. It was a journey of 3.5 months. Over 200 people cramped on board a small wooden sailing ship over the dreaded Kalipani, or black water. This passage was feared not only because of the rough sea resulting from colliding currents or the needles of rock jutting off the southern tip of Africa, or once they passed the Cape of Storms, the vast expanse of the southern Atlantic Ocean, but feared because they had been taught to think they would lose their identities by venturing across. Yet they came in search of a better life. Many had simply misunderstood what lay ahead, and others had been misled with promises of wealth to be made. They were not to be slaves after all. But the work conditions were grueling. Almost 144,000 made that crossing, and although a few returned when they could, most stayed and built new lives. That took as much courage as the crossing, enormous strength of purpose, and devotion to family. So, I bring greetings to the students of Trinidad Renaissance and wish you and your families a happy Indian Arrival Day, celebrated safely and quietly at home.
Okay, now that Dr. Lala spoke about the legacy that was left here and that still shines on today. Now, right now, we are going to take a really special trip down memory lane. Now, all of you have a special role today, all of you, reception all the way up to year 6. Your role today is to do some imagination, right? And I want you from this moment on to really imagine what life would have been like 176 years ago. Okay? Let us see what that would have been like. Now, I know a lot of you would have been hearing about the word ancestor, right? So let us take a look at what is an ancestor? What does an ancestor mean? So we can move on, Miss. An ancestor is any person from whom one is descended, and we all have ancestors. A very beautiful African proverb says that dreams are voices of ancestors, and these indentured workers certainly arrived with dreams, and they were armed with their texts, their ambitions, and their spirituality. So as you will see in our next slide, that is the reason why religion played such an important role in weaving the social fabric together. And so more than 80% of immigrants were Hindus, and the remainder were Muslims and other ethnic groups, which you will see later on. Now, remember when I said they came armed with their texts? Well, the texts that I was referring to are the Ramayana, which is the Hindu text, and the Quran, which is the Muslim text. And these texts were sources of inspiration, and it was a great source of strength for them as they crossed through those dark Kalapani waters that Dr. Lala spoke about earlier. Now, keeping their sense of identity is something that was very important and still lives on today. And so the Indian men and women kept their garments or clothing, and this helped them to do just that, maintain their sense of identity. So if you look in these vintage photos, you will see the photo of Indian men who wore their dhotis, and Indian women who at that time mostly wore their saris. But if you take a good look at that picture, you're going to see lots of gold adorning that Indian lady. And this is because they were people who were sonas, they were called sonas, and they were in East Indian jewelry makers. And they made very beautiful pieces of jewelry, traditional jewelry that you all know. For example, some girls right now today probably have their bangles. So you can shake your bangles if you have them. And they were called churis. See, I see some of you shaking up your churis. Some of you would be familiar with beras. And some some of our mummies, I don't think any one of you here has nose rings yet, but those nose rings were called neck pool. And the earrings were called can pool. And you see that big chain that's around her neck? It's a beaded necklace called the Chanaha. Okay? So these were very traditional East Indian jewelry that were made by these sonards, these jewelers. Now, we have all heard about the Fatal Razak. We know about the Fatal Razak, but there were many more ships that arrived with East Indian indentured workers, because remember, they didn't only come to Trinidad, they also went to various parts of the Caribbean, for example, Guyana and Jamaica and so on. And so this picture that you see here is it's an authentic piece of paper, and it's a schedule of ships that took up conveyance for Indian immigrants from Calcutta to the West Indies. So just a few of the ships' names that you may not be familiar with. For example, Medusa, Aurora, Susanna, Cadet. So those were names of other ships that would have sailed across the ocean at various times, right? And if you look right across of it, you're going to see on the 12th of October, the Duke of Bedford, the name of that ship, sailed to Trinidad on the 12th of October as well, 12th of October and the 20th of June. So there we have it, other names of ships that arrived to our shores and other West Indian nations. Now, you know how we assume that when the East Indians came to the West Indies, they were promised under something called the Ordinance Laws that they were to receive lodging, that's a place to stay, and food. Now this is a ration card. Someone is unmuted, please keep your mic muted. Okay, so this is a ration card and it's a dietary scale for immigrants. And what this tells us is how much food the Indian indentured laborers were entitled to get, right? And these are some of the foods. Rice, and you're going to see a word there, dal. And that word is dal, salt, turmeric, and so on, all these different things, and how much they were supposed to get. And incidentally, there was no ration for infants under a certain age. So you were allowed a certain amount of food only, and you would have your card to show that. All right? So we are familiar with dal, we're familiar with ghee, with salt and turmeric, and I want you to bear that in mind for a little bit later on as we move on. All right? Now, as we move on to the skills of the indentured laborers, here we see a lady holding some baskets, and she was she's a basket maker, and the Hindi name that she was called was Tokra Wala, and Tokra Walas were basket makers. And what they did was that they walked on the streets selling their baskets, and people put items of clothing in their baskets, and perhaps some of you might even have seen this in some of your homes and so on still today. They were artisans and craftsmen, and they made these products by hand. All right? Tokrowalas. Now, here is where things are going to get a little bit interactive. So I want everybody to listen. You listening? I want everybody to put their hands up in the air like this. Way up high. Shake it all out. Shake it all out. Because now I'm going to come down again. And we are going to get really creative with our imagination. Right? Are we ready? You're going to have Miss Maraja, because I'm going to be right there with you on this plantation that we are going to be visiting now. So, you ready for this? It is hot on the plantation. What happens when it's hot? You have to wipe all this sweat, this sweltering heat. Come on, it's hot out there, hot. And you are there. You are one of those people on the sugarcane plantations, right? What will you be doing there? will be working there. And this first photo that you see is where some of you are. It's a very, very rare photo. And that photo is a glimpse of a railway steam crane, right? Now, what you're going to be doing there, you are loading things up. So let's get ready to load things up onto our crane now. Ready? Come on, pick it up and let's go. Pick it up and put it in your crane. And you're going to get a feel of how difficult that's going to be. And remember, it's going to be really, really heavy. So you're going to be moving. All right. And the second photo is where you are all there now. But there is a horse there. I don't know if you glimpsed the horse, but it's a horse-drawn wagon. And it is waiting to go on onto that railway steam crane, right? And the last photo are all of you on the plantations there, right? Working really, 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 really hard. But this time you don't have a crane, right? You are loading everything up by hand. Okay? That must have been really tiring, especially as it was so hot. But they pressed on. Now, it just dawned on me that there's some very interesting points that we could learn from. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard about St. James, right? If you've ever heard about that area, St. James in Trinidad. When indentureship ended in 1917, the entire of St. James was known as Indian Town because many immigrants settled in St. James. And you would know that because today there are street names that has been deeply influenced by the settlement of East Indians there, like Agra Street, Bombay Street, Benares Street, Lucknow Street. Those were all names that stayed and is still there with us today. Even villages. There's a village in Dago Martin called Patna Village. Patna Village is a village in a district in the state of Uttar Pradesh in India. Okay? And in south, where some of us live, if not most, there are place names such as Golconda and Faizabad. They are also names that were influenced deeply by the East Indian settlement here. So, as we move on, you're going to have to stay with me, right? Remember, we're still on the plantations. Listen carefully now. Listen carefully to me. Because now, look behind you. Everybody look behind you real fast. You're not going to believe me, but really. Look behind you really, really, really quick. And you see what you're seeing there? You're seeing stalks of sugar cane that you need to pick, and you need to get, and you need to eat because it's juicy. That little boy is a boy around the age of a year one student in the 1940s. And what is he doing? He is stripping pieces of sugarcane with his teeth. And you are going to do the same. So imagine if you're stripping pieces of sugarcane with your teeth, all the juice running down your arms. And it's delicious. Right? Okay, good. Now you're going to have to clean up a little bit here because now you're feeling really tired. And you want to go home. Well, your home, when you head into your home would be known as a tapia house, but you would call it a jupery, right? That would be the name of your home because you're tired. I mean, you did all that work on the plantations, on the railway steam cranes, and you had some sugar cane as a snack, but now you're tired. So you come home into your house. Now, I want you to take a look at the floor. Look at the floor. The floor was done by a process called lipaying. Now, lipaying is where a coat of clay and cow dung was used to spread across the floor. And the East Indians felt that it kept them cool, right? And it was, and it is the process that goes on today, but it's dying out, right? So they lipay the floor. That's what you would have had to do, but you're there now, right? So you know that, right? Now, after you're home, you're gonna get tired, and after tiredness, you're getting hungry because you did all that work and you come home and you lipay the floor and you did all of that. Now you're hungry. Now as an indentured worker, you would need food, right? And so you would quickly learn how to grow food that you know and you love from India, right? And so that is where rice was introduced by the East Indians. And here are some workers who are working diligently on the rice paddies, right? And there were swamps that they would frequently go to plant their rice. And rice was very important in religious rites, for example, weddings and so on. So they worked very hard. So now you have your rice, right? You have your dal that you have from your ration cards. But you need to make your food taste nice. You need to be able to grind up your spices. So you're going to help me grind up my spices. Don't let me do it alone because it's a tiring process and Miss Mirage does not like to be doing things that are tiresome. So help me. You are going to put all your special spices like your curry leaves and your cumin and coriander and cardamom, and you're going to put them into your mortar and pestle, your grinding utensil. So we're going to grind. You see my hands? Put your hands together like this and we're going to grind. It's a process that they use to get all the flavors and the scents out of those nice spices and to make your food taste really, really, really delicious. And then they would use the jata or the grinding stone to get it even more fine so that they could be able to put it into their food to taste really, really nice. Take a smell of it. Deep breaths. Take some deep breaths. Sense of spice and curry, deliciousness. And now, all of that, here you are, 100 years later, celebrating your first Indian arrival day in 1945. 100 years later, you know. This picture was taken on Coffee Street, Carrick Street, and if some of us might be familiar with Grand Memorial School, that was where that picture was taken so many years and years ago. So that was our trip down memory lane. And now we have some more special items coming your way, and I'm going to pass you on to Mrs. Rubin now, who's going to take you through. And I want you to keep in mind that we're still in that frame, right? East Indian indentureship. There you go.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you. So we know the East Indians have left a very great and rich culture and legacy. And we practice those things in our everyday lives. Let me see. Raise of hands. Remember, our mics are muted. Who loves curry? How many of you love curry? To eat anything curry? Right. And those spices came from India. So let's see what else our ancestors have left us. Dance. How many of you like to dance? I know Renaissance has many, many dancers. Yes. So let's move on and see what rich cultural dances were left by our Indian ancestors. And here we have some pictures of Indian classical dance. And not to be outdone, we have a special Trinidad Renaissance performance by one of our very own students. Do you all know who that is? Don't know? Yes, it's Nara from year 1. So let's see. And you can dance along with Nara. Do not unmute your mics and just move your hands. Don't get up and dance along with Nara. Are you ready?
So I am a city of India. India. The Indian worship and slavery, bind together to represent unity. There was no more mother Africa, no more mother India, just mother
Excellent. Keep your mics muted and give Nara a lusty round of applause, everyone. And clap for yourselves because I didn't know we have such great dancers at Renaissance. Excellent dancing, everyone. Right. And now we have some special greetings. You see how many people want to wish you all happy Indian Arrival Day? You all are really, really important children, you know. So our other special greeting comes from Mr. Krish Singh. He is very well known in the broadcasting world in Trinidad and Tobago. He is very learned in many religious texts, and he is also one of the pioneers and key presenters in Akashvani 106.5 FM. I don't know if anyone listens to that station, but if you don't, listen and you will hear Krish sing. So listen.
Jai Sri Sitaram, Namaskaram, or Assalamu Alaikum. Indian Arrival Day, celebrated on May 30th, recognizes the arrival of the Fatil Razak, which brought the first indented immigrants from India 176 years ago to the beautiful shores of Trinidad and Tobago. In India, they were promised a better life and an opportunity to overcome the poverty that defined their lives across there. Sustained by their culture and dedication to family, these Indian immigrants toiled relentlessly in the fields and lifted their state in life through the cornerstone of education, hard work, and resilience, and eventually became a defining force here in Trinidad and Tobago. It is impossible to imagine our country without this rich culture of food, of music, of dance, and philosophy which they brought and developed right here in Trinidad. I am Krish Singh of Akashvani 106.5 FM, and at this time I'd like to take the opportunity to wish the staff and the students of the Renaissance School a happy and meaningful Indian Arrival Day 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Krish Singh. Right, so keep your mics muted and remember we are a very polite bunch. So say thank you to Mr. Krish Singh and wish him a happy Indian Arrival Day as well, because he just wished you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
remember, mics muted, mics muted. Keep your mics muted. Right, let's move on. So here we have, remember we said the East Indians brought with them such a great legacy and all the things that they were doing in India. While they travel on that boat, they brought items with them. So I'm sure you would notice some of these instruments because remember on your trivia questions, your teachers would have posted a picture for you and you would have seen some of these instruments. Now, as I said, Renaissance is filled with so much talent. So much talent. We have another special performance from none other than Pavan. And I will have to take lessons from Pavan, because Pavan could sing and he could play with the harmonium as well. So we're doing this a little bit different. This is a karaoke session. And we thank Mr. Davy for putting in all the words to the song that Pavan is singing. So what you're going to do, keep your mics muted. Everyone make sure your mic is muted right now. No one should have any unmuted mics. Right? And as we're doing the karaoke, while your mics are muted, you can read the subtitles that's there to help you along with the song. Take it away, Pavan. And remember, mics muted and sing along with him.
Namaste. Happy Indian Arrival Day from Trinidad Renaissance School. Oh, tell awake the time has come to rise, united the stars and shine together. Rise up, awake the time is right. Oh, children of the culture. When the Kennedy planted upon this land, the seeds of the crocodile they have built, united the courage and strength together, building a new home in this land. Oh, children of noble culture. The days of the night slow more and trying could not destroy the culture, could not destroy the dharma. They were brave and fought like Rama. They were strong and scared like cheetah. Full of faith, love, and vision, my sons and my daughters rise up to face the task at hand. Continuing the way that our father started, building a new home in this land. Oh, children of noble culture. Do the youth of the day or do the awaiters? Now is no time for weakness. Now is the time for action. Let us love and serve one another. Let us strive to build our future. Let us join hands and voices across this land, continuing the work that our fathers began. Let us with courage and determination, building a new home in this land. Oh, children of noble culture. Oh, children of noble culture. Oh, children of faith and vision. Oh, children of eternal dharma. Oh, children of strength and courage. Oh, children of a brighter future.
Thank you, Pavan, for that wonderful and beautiful song. So give Pavan a clap. Remember, keep your mics muted. And give yourselves a clap because I saw so much singing happening. Very, very well done, Trinidad Renaissance. Very well done. Right, and now we move on to festivals. And I'm sure you all know most of these festivals. Now remember we said on the ship, we had different religions coming, but Mrs. Miraj told you the two main religions were the Hindus and the Muslims. So we'll be focusing on the festivals that they celebrate. That first festival is Diwali. I know everyone enjoys that. No matter what religion you belong to, you enjoy lighting diyas or taking a drive around to see all the beautiful diyas. And this is a Hindu celebration. And Pagwa, which is so predominant in Trinidad now. Everyone plays Pagwa and gets together to have so much fun with all the colored water, which we call abir, and all those different colorful powders that we rub on each other. And now the Muslim festivals. Remember we had our Eid al-Fitr presentation that came on the Fatul Rizaq when the Muslims arrived, or else we wouldn't have been celebrating Eid al-Fitr. And another very important Muslim festival, which is called Hozi. Do you know this is Trinidad? And remember, Miss spoke to you all about St. James. Look at that picture there. Do you see St. James written at the top there? That is where most of the East Indians settled. So you see, even though that happened hundreds of years ago, we have a rich culture still in our country. Now, these beautiful, beautiful structures that you see there that look like mosques, they do represent mosques, but they're also called as, known as tajas. And what they are, they represent the tombs of Prophet Muhammad's grandsons and what they stood for and how they fought for their religion. Very, very beautiful. And those things are made, you know. People make them. Very, very beautiful. And as I said, Renaissance is full of talent. Now we have Isabel and Jonah to teach us what is a dabbler good for. Take it away, Isabel and Jonah.
Hi, my name is Isabel and this is Jonah. Today we're going to show you a few items that the East Indians use. Firstly, we have the dabla. The dabla is used to cook roti and give licks, like this. Hey! There are long dablas like this and short ones like this. Then we have the urni. The urni is used to cover your head. This is a belna. It is used to roll out roti in the kitchen. This is a kalchu. It is used to chunk it out and scoop it up. This is a lota and this is a taria. These are used for prayer. Enamel dishes. They were used long ago. This plate is used to eat out of. And this cup is used to drink out of. Yummy! Delicious!
Thank you, Isabella and Tuna. Thank you so much for that very informative little session. I hope you know what a dabla is used for now. It's not just to make roti, right? Right. And now I pass you on to Mrs. Maraj, who will tell you about our other guest who has special greetings for you wonderful children.
Thank you, Miss. So we now have a very special greeting, and this is from Kavish Maharaj. And he was one of the first West Indians to study under the acclaimed A.R. Rahman, who's famous for his works on films such as Dil Se and Slumdog Millionaire. There, Kavish studied music theory production, Hindustani classical vocals, and opera music in Chennai, India. He has a dynamic musical band aptly named Kavish the Band. Here is Kavish.
उड़ती है तू मेरी पास आती नहीं होठों पे तेरे कभी प्यास आती नहीं ऐसा लगे जैसे कि तू हंस के जहर कोई पे जाए शाम मस्तानी मदहोश किए जा मुझे दोस्त कोई कीजिए तेरी लिए जा. Hey guys, I'm Kavish from Kavish the Band, and I want to wish Renaissance School a happy Indian Arrival Day 2021. God bless you. Take care.
Kavish is not here, but we need to give him a big round of applause. You know that. Let's give him a big clap. Stay muted and give him a big clap. Well done. Now, we have another special performance, and this performer is Olivia Reese of Year 5, and she's performing a piece on the Jahaji Bai song. Jahaji means ship traveler, and this was a journey that was taken with friends on the ship. So let's take a look at Olivia Reese's performance.
He came from Calcutta, a stick and a bag on his shoulder, Ito banana capra. So I am part seed of India. India, the Indian can ship on this slavery, bind together to resist in unity. There was no more mother Africa, no more mother India, just mother Trinidad. My Mahuta planted sugar cane down in the Caroni plain. Ram Logan Bastel percussion high. Jahaji Bai, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji Bai, brotherhood of the boat. Jahaji Bai.
Okay, so that was Olivia's performance, and we are going to put it up somewhere that you're going to be able to take a look at it again if you would so desire, because it's a beautiful dance. Thank you, Olivia. Give Olivia a big, 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 big clap. Now, we have come to the end of our Indian Arrival Day program, and on behalf of the entire Trinidad Renaissance family, we would like to extend happy Indian Arrival Day greetings to you all and all of your families. We wish you a safe and happy week.